Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The qualification of bhakti or devotional service to the Lord is that the devotee should be free from all material contaminations and desires. This freedom is called vairagya or renouncement of material desires. One who engages in devotional service to the Lord according to regulated principles is automatically freed from material desires. And in that pure state of mind, one can realize the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, instructs the devotee regarding pure devotional service so that he may ultimately achieve the association of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 as follows. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Translation of this verse. To one who constantly engages in the devotional service of the Lord with faith and love, the Lord certainly gives the intelligence to achieve Him at the ultimate end. End of translation. One has to conquer the mind, and one may do it by following the Vedic rituals and by performing different types of sacrifice. The ultimate end of all those performances is to attain bhakti or the devotional service of the Lord. Without bhakti, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The original personality of Godhead or His innumerable expansions of Vishnu are the only objects of worship by all the Vedic rituals and sacrificial performances. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Something very, very important about the form of the Lord is being described in quite detail in this section of the description of the appearance of Lord Varaha. First of all, this form is an extraordinary form of a boar. And in the material estimation, a boar is not a very glorified creature. Not any great animal. When Krishna says, I am lion among animals, which is the verse? Quickly open, 10th chapter. Huh? 30. Read the verse. Kalah kalayatamaham mriganam cha mrugendroham vainateyascha pakshinam. Among birds, this Vainateya, Garuda, who is in the form of a eagle. Very, very royal bird. The American government has got the logo having a grand eagle. Indonesian Airlines is named Garuda Airlines after the Garuda himself, who is a very royal bird. Now Krishna also says, Mriganam cha mrugendroham. Mrugendra, who is the Indra, the king of all the mrigas, all the animals, lion. So lion is a very royal animal among the animals, yes? But this boar is not a very, great animal. So why would the Lord appear in the form of a boar? Why would He appear in the form of a boar? So, the form of the Lord is not an ordinary form. In any form, his form is extraordinary. So this point is being stressed in the prayers offered to Lord Varaha by the great sages. So in how many ways they are describing the form of the Lord as completely extraordinary, completely transcendental. Your form is the form of sacrifice. Earlier verse, it was mentioned in one prayer. He is never to be misunderstood to be other than the Supreme Lord because of his assuming the form of a boar to lift the earth. So the sages have already clarified that you have appeared in this form to lift the earth. And his form is the form of all sacrifices. Yeah, here it is. Your semen is a sacrifice called Soma Yajna. Your growth is the ritualistic performances of the morning. Your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agnishtoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma. And you are bound by yajnas only. So, Prabhupada says in the purport, there are 7 kinds of routine yajnas performed by all followers of the Vedic rituals. Did we cover this verse? When did we cover this? Agnishtoma, Atyagnishtoma, Ukta, Shodashi, Vajapeya, Atiratra, Aptoryama. So, all these sacrifices situated within the body of the Supreme Lord. So, therefore, this prayer says, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you are worshipable by sacrificial ingredients. Because when you perform a sacrifice, we are offering some ingredients into the fire. So what is the purpose of offering these ingredients to the fire? As atheists say, you're simply burning away so many valuable things which could be distributed to the poor or used in so many other useful ways. Why are you wasting all these nice ingredients? So what they don't understand is, this Supreme Lord is worshipable by sacrifice, and sacrifice, if it is a fire sacrifice, it involves offering some sacrificial ingredients into the fire. He is also worshipable by universal prayers. Akhila mantra devata. Here devata does not refer to demigods, it refers to the Supreme Lord, who is worshipable by akhila mantra. All types of prayers, universal prayers, are actually meant for the Supreme Lord. All Vedic hymns are meant for the Supreme Lord. All Vedic hymns. Madhvacharya, quoting one Upanishad, he says, that the Supreme Lord is the only object of worship in all the Vedas. forget that verse. Sarvatra Hari Giyate Vede cha Ramayane chaiva Purana cha Bharata, something like that. You can search for that verse in your mobile. Vede cha Ramayane chaiva Sarvatra Hari Giyate. Can search for either Sarvatra Hari Giyate or Vede cha Ramayane chaiva. You have the search facility or you don't have? Not everyone has the search facility. Read that, Sudama. Vede Ramayane chaiva Purane Bharate tatha Adyav ante cha madhyam cha, in the beginning, in the middle, in the end. Sarvatra. Hari Sarvatra Giyate. It's only the Supreme Lord. What is the translation? Read the translation. See? So, by performance of sacrifice also, it is the Supreme Lord who is worshipable. That's the only business we have, to glorify the Lord, to worship the Lord. Why? Why do the Shastras say your only business is simply to worship the Lord, to glorify the Lord, to pray to the Lord? Why? What is the reason? Because that's the goal of life. Our goal of life is to reconnect with Krishna. So how can we reconnect with Krishna? If we worship Him, if we glorify Him, if we offer sacrifice to Him, if we do work as an offering to Him, yajñārthāt karmaṇah, yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapassisi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Our business is to reconnect with Him. That's our goal of life. So we have to do everything for Him. And all the Vedas are meant for this one single purpose. So that we reconnect with Him. All the Vedas are only describing Him. All are explaining who is the Lord. So every type of sacrifice, every type of prayer, the Vedic hymns, every type of worship is simply meant for Krishna only. Even if it may be offered through the Devatas, Indra Yajna. So Prabhupada explains, even though somebody may do Indra Yajna, the Yajneshwara, who is the Yajneshwara, the chief beneficiary of all the Yajnas is Krishna. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwara. So many ways Krishna has explained that He is the ultimate object of all sacrifices. So here also the sages are telling, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are worshipable by universal prayers, Vedic hymns and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisances unto you. Namo Namaste. Again and again, repeatedly offering obeisances. It begins with Namo Namaste and ends with Namo Namaha. Arjuna also offers such prayers. Which is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter? No, 11th chapter. The prayers offered by Arjuna, 36 to 46. No. Repeatedly offering obeisances. From the front, from the back, from this. 40. What is the verse? Namo purastat ata prishtataste namostute sarvata eva sarva. What is the translation? Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, from all sides. See? Also another place offers obeisances to you millions of times. 39. What is the verse? Prapitamahascha Namo namastestu sahasra krutvaha Punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. See how many times Arjuna is telling, I am offering my obeisances to you. Because he is everything. He is the wind, he is the fire. What is the translation? Read the translation. Air, fire, water. You are the moon. You are the supreme controller and the great grandfather, not grandfather. Prapitamahasya. Then? Thousands of times. Sahasra kritvaha. Again and yet again. So many times. Bhuyopi namo namaste. Which is the verse in Brahma Samhita which Prabhupada quoted just 2 days back we were hearing. Krishna is the fire, Krishna is the water, Krishna is the air. Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Maruddishascha Kalas Tathatma Manasiti Jagatrayan. So when it is said Krishna is water, Krishna is fire, Krishna is air, it means Krishna is his energy. That energy is manifest in this world in the form of earth, water, fire, air, sky, etc. So he is simultaneously different from and one with his energy. With everything. He is simultaneously different and one with. So Krishna is. So we are reminded about Krishna in so many ways through the Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Simply by remembering Krishna and practicing this remembrance of Krishna always, constantly. Which is the verse in the 8th chapter which Krishna says, constantly remember me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Yudhyacha. Of course, do your duty, but don't forget me. Always remember me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Verse number 7. 8.7. Raghava Sharan, read that verse. In translation.
Therefore, Arjuna should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt.
See, attaining Krishna is the goal, ultimate goal of life. So for that we have to practice remembering Krishna always. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara. And this remembering Krishna, how do we remember the Supreme Lord? Should think of me in the form of Krishna. See the translation of Prabhupada? Prabhupada is not translating remember me always. No. That is also there, some other places. But here specifically, think of me in the form of Krishna. 18th chapter also, Prabhupada says one should direct one's attention particularly to the form of Krishna, who was present before Arjuna in the two-handed form. Which is that verse? The 18th chapter. One should think of Krishna, or one should remember Krishna, particularly in his form as two-handed Shama Sundara. Huh? 77. No, not 77. (18.66) Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Just surrendered unto me alone, nobody else. Aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. In the purport, Prabhupada says, one should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he is all attractive. One who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. You see? In the 8th chapter it was said, second paragraph in this purport, in the 8th chapter it was said, only one who has become free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reaction. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. Same thing Prabhupada is explaining in this purport, which says are offering. We offer our respectful obeisances to you as a supreme spiritual master of knowledge in devotional service. Here, the word is used, Vairagya Bhaktya Jnanaya Vidya Gurave Namo Namaha. Vairagya Bhaktya. This is, Vairagya is realized, Krishna is realized by the pure mind. Atma Jaya Anubhavita. Anubhavita means realized or perceived. Atma Jaya, those who have conquered the mind. For this we should understand, Prabhupada explains, when we see, we are not exactly seeing through these eyes alone. Eyes are simply one help for seeing. We are seeing through our mind. We are seeing through our mind. Depending on the mental conception we have or we develop by seeing, according to that we see a person. Supposing our conception of a person is, oh, he is my good friend. So you'll always see that person as your friend only. He may be in an angry mood, he may be in a very nice mood, he may be just indifferent. In whichever mood he is situated, when you see him, because of your conception that he is your friend, you will see him as your friend. You will see him in a friendly way. Somebody thinks somebody is my enemy. You'll always see him in an inimical way. Never see him in a friendly way. Never. So, it is through the mind we see. So, therefore, unless the mind is purified of all material misconceptions, one place Prabhupada explains, what is ahankara, false ego? It is the sum total of all your misconceptions. And misconceptions about what? Misconception about Krishna. Because Krishna is everything. If Krishna is everything, whatever misconception you have about anything, that is misconception about Krishna only. So, unless your mind is clear of all material misconceptions, you cannot see Krishna properly. Even if you see Krishna, you cannot see him properly. First of all, Krishna cannot be seen with these material eyes or with an impure mind. You cannot see Krishna. Even if Krishna appears before you, you will consider him according to the misconception in the mind. You will think here is another person who is like a created being among so many created beings. You see? So, to be able to perceive the Lord, you can be realized by the pure mind, freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. Visible material contamination is our behavior, mentality. Invisible material contamination, what is invisible material contamination? Specifically, what is it in the body? False ego. False ego is not visible. False ego is what I think I am. It's just like somebody thinks, I am great. And the person is not really great, but he thinks I am great. That's what he thinks he is. If somebody says, you're not great, oh, he's envious of me. He's envious of my greatness. He doesn't know who I am. He hates me, therefore he thinks I am not great. So it's very, very difficult. This false ego has invisible material contamination. What is the real ego? I am simply servant of Krishna. What kind of servant? Eternal servant. Loving servant. Eternally a loving servant of Krishna. Nitya Krishna Dasa. Krishna Dasa. Krishna Dasa means devotee of Krishna. So that sort of real ego has to be awakened. It is not something we have to acquire that from external source. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunai. It's eternally established in the heart of everybody. What? Krishna Bhakti. Pure devotional service to Krishna. Eternal loving service to Krishna. Loving servant of Krishna. You are. But the covering is false ego. Covering of the mind. Covering of the intelligence, material mind. Material ego is this false ego. This covering, ego covering is the most subtle covering. And it is described here as invisible material contamination. So we have to conquer the mind. Here, mind, remember, is used in the sense of mind alone, or sometimes in the sense of mind, intelligence and false ego, subtle body. So here, Atma, Jaya, Anubhavita, conquer the mind. Atma refers to the mind. Mind means here, mind, intelligence and false ego. All the three coverings, subtle coverings, of which the most subtle is the false ego. That's what you think we are, but we are not that. We are not even the false ego. So to conquer that, Prabhupada begins his purport. The qualification of bhakti or devotional service to the Lord is that the devotee should be free from all material contaminations and desires. Two things. Contamination is one kind of disqualification, and material desires is another kind of disqualification for bhakti. Try to understand the difference. What is the difference between these two? Contamination and desire. Prabhupada says and. What is material contamination? Specifically, our material contamination is a residual karma. What is that residual karma? Called prarabdha karma. When we accept initiation, or we surrender to the Lord, or surrender to the spiritual master, or begin devotional service, all our karmas which are in the form of aprarabdha, that which is not yet fructified, all that is finished. But prarabdha karma is this body itself. The body itself. The body itself is not destroyed when we take to devotional service, when we surrender to the spiritual master, when we surrender to Krishna in this life. Body itself is not destroyed. So the body, prarabdha, it's a force that acts on our consciousness. Just like some bodily change happens. Somebody becomes old. They start worrying, I become old. I'm not able to see properly. I'm not able to get proper sleep at night. I'm not able to digest my food. How can I do bhakti in this condition? Because till old age comes, that vigor of youth, or the bodily strength or sensual strength, one can go on doing somehow. Even if I fall sick, I'll get better. But old age is such a stage where you fall sick, you may not get better, you may not exactly recover properly. Or even without disease, so many infirmities in the body, invalidity due to old age. Jara, what is this jara? As a defect of this body. Dosha, dukkha, misery and defect. What is that? Invalidity. Eyes cannot see properly. Even specs and all kinds of laser surgery and all are not going to help. To necessarily, it will not improve your vision. So, hard of hearing, not able to... Dhritarashtra, Vidura describes, your body is going to be finished. Notice of death is already there because you're coughing mucus. You are hard of hearing. So many symptoms are listed. No, very graphically it is listed. So that is invalidity due to old age. Invalidity due to old age. So, that time, how do we do devotional service? So that time or even any other time, you should remember that this residual karma, we have to actually remember it will not go away. But vairagya vidya nija bhakti yoga shiksharthamekam purusha puranaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripambudistamaham Prapadye. Swanamandacharya offered 100 wonderful verses in glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he first saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi come to Puri after taking sannyas, so you know the background, I'll close with this another 5 minutes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he was accompanied by his associates, but when he reached Puri, he became ecstatic and he went ahead of everyone else and straight went to the temple of Jagannath. As soon as he had darshan of Jagannath, he fainted in ecstasy. So everybody became perturbed. When sannyasi has come, he came for darshan, he fainted. So what is to be done? What is to be done to revive him back to his normal consciousness? So different people are talking. Sarvamandacharya suddenly came. He is the guru of King Prataprudra, Asthana Guru, Rajaguru. So he is the learned scholar, expert in Vedanta. So he was called and said, some sannyasi has come. So he tested. The sannyasi has fainted due to some physical condition, too much heat, too much thirst or some, bodily condition, or is it that in a spiritual trance he is appearing like he is fainted? So what did Sarvamandacharya do? Somebody has read this portion? A small strand of cotton, he put it in front of his nose and saw that he is normally breathing. Trance, one will normally be breathing. So it is not due to any bodily condition, no infirmity of the body, no disease, no thirst, hunger being affected. No, he is actually in spiritual trance. So he said, take this sannyasi to my house. I want to talk to him. I want to converse with him. This is not an ordinary condition. He is a very advanced yogi. That's how he saw him, yogi, advanced yogi. Later on, the devotees came and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not be brought to external consciousness by any other means other than kirtana. So when they performed Sankirtana, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to external consciousness, and then Sarvamandacharya was thinking, oh, here is a sannyasi who is very, very austere, very advanced in yoga. But what he did not know is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. So Sarvamandacharya's brother-in-law, Gopinath Acharya, he knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So he was telling Sarvamandacharya, actually he is the Supreme Lord himself, appeared as a devotee. So how can you say he is the Supreme Lord? Be very careful in making such statements. What is the Shastric basis? So Gopinath Acharya did not go on to substantiate all the Shastric evidence. He told some evidences. Somehow he could not convince Sarvamandacharya. So then Gopinath Acharya says, you can know the Lord only when you become a recipient of the Lord's mercy. There is a verse like this in the Upanishads. Nayam atma pravachanena nabhyaha na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. By studying all the Vedic scriptures, by using one's intelligence to understand who is God or what is God. By all these means you cannot realize or understand God. You have to be blessed by Him. You have to be blessed by Him. And His blessing alone again is not enough. You should be in a position to receive that mercy, to accept that mercy, accept the blessing. we should be in a position to receive that mercy of blessing. So that position of being able to receive the blessings is described here as freedom from all material contaminations and desires. That's called vairagya. This freedom is called vairagya, or renouncement of material desires. What is the process for this? Prabhupada says, one who engages in devotional service to the Lord according to regulated principles is automatically freed from material desires. And in that pure state of mind, one can realize the personality of God. Narad Muni has given a definition of pure devotional service, in which he says the same thing. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam. Paratvena nirmalam. All contamination has to be removed. And one has to become free from all material designations. These material designations are sitting as the false ego. False ego is nothing but designations, different designations. I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. Or sometimes it also sits as material desires. I want to be. Like somebody is not, let's say, managing director of a company. He's got a desire, I want to be the managing director. So he'll work hard. He'll take some extra degrees. He will nicely try to be in the good books of his bosses. Try to show performance. So many things they do. Correct? So this designation is not just what designations are there at present in my mind or in my false ego. Also future designations are all sitting as material desires. So when it says you have to become free from all designations, both present and future, everything you have to give up. So that freedom from all such false designations is called vairagya. So this vairagya is the qualification for bhakti. The qualification for bhakti. Without such purification, chanting will not be effective. Because simply you chant once even Krishna's name, Krishna is directly present in the form of his holy name. You can realize Krishna immediately. Immediately. But somebody is not pure, not free from material designations, either in the form of future designations, which we aspire for, or present designation, which you already have, which you think we have already. Designation of the body, designation of so many possessions, everything. My car, my house, or my intelligence, my ability, my skill. All these are false designation. This is not real designation. So, freedom from all designations is the stage when you chant Hare Krishna, immediately you realize Krishna. Because Krishna is present as the holy name. Krishna is the holy name. Holy name is Krishna. Therefore, it is said here, you can be realized by a pure mind freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. And to free yourself from all material contamination, visible and invisible, you have to engage in devotional service according to regulative principles. What is this called in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Engaging in devotional service according to regulative principles? Sadhana bhakti. Sadhana means, what is the meaning of the word sadhana? Literal meaning? Practice. Practice. Practice according to rules and regulations. Vidhi. Vaidhi bhakti. It's also called Vaidhi bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti is vidhi. Vidhi means rules and regulations. So, according to rules and regulations, according to regulated principles, if one engages in devotional service to Lord, then only one is automatically freed from all material desires. Because if somebody adopts some other process for freeing themselves from material desires, it's a very, very slow process. So Prabhupada says, ultimately all processes are meant for this purification. 6th chapter, Krishna says, Yogam Atma Vishuddhaye. Any yoga practice, whatever be the yoga practice, the ultimate goal is Atma Vishuddhi, self-purification. Self-purification. So without this self-purification, it's not possible to engage in devotional service, engage in pure devotional service. That pure devotional service is the only way to know Krishna. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead without bhakti. And the ultimate end of all performances is to attain bhakti or devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, here it is said, we offer our respectful obeisances to you as the Supreme Spiritual Master of knowledge and devotional service. Supreme Spiritual Master. Krishna is the Supreme Spiritual Master. And that Spiritual Master, Krishna, as a Supreme Spiritual Master, what knowledge does he give? Knowledge in devotional service. Knowledge about devotional service. Knowledge about bhakti. That is very important. That's why he tells Arjuna, Mayasakta mana partha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasyasi tatshruno. How you can know me in full free from doubt. By practicing this yoga with mind attached to me. Mayi asakta manaha. Madashrayaha. Yogam yunjan. You practice this devotional service under my protection, under my shelter. So taking shelter of Krishna and then practicing yoga is bhakti yoga. Whereas other yoga systems, one need not explicitly take shelter of Krishna. Bhakti means take shelter of Krishna. That's why Shraddha, faith, at least preliminary faith in Krishna must be there for bhakti. Otherwise bhakti cannot begin. So that is being offered in this prayer. These things are being mentioned by the sages in this prayer. Stop it. Rantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shla Prabhupada ki jai.